dramatic finishes like that before?
Well, I'm sure there's been a few, but it's kind of the same things that have plagued us all year. Those timely turnovers, Nate, TK had there, and then the rebounding. We were up at half on the boards, and then really got killed on the boards in the second half. Second chance points, that second half really made a big difference. So there's quicker ways to kill me if the guys want to do that. We can do it a heck of a lot quicker than that. But no, I was really disappointed. Just the way that game turned defensively for us on the boards, our turnovers, couple really bad shots there. Way, takes a really bad one there. So just some bad possessions, and you want the guys to play with confidence, but you got to play a lot smarter than that. And that's my job. And again, we, in the 31st game, shouldn't make those mistakes.
Just Kwami's effort in those final 11 seconds to hit that big three and then also make his free throws.
Oh, absolutely. No, he hit a big shot there that we desperately needed, and then knocked the free throws down. So, yeah, that was huge. That was huge. That was, a big part of the win.
What's the strategy when they've got fouls to give and they're trying to do it and burn clock and down by 3?
Yeah, we had the same. We had a 1-point lead at Northwestern, and guys didn't execute. I wanted to save one, for when Martinelli got it, but we fouled a little early there. But it's tough because you're trying to be aggressive, but with the new rule, on getting a shot going, it's a lot easier to draw a foul in the process of shooting, which a lot of teams now have not fouled as much on a 3 late, just because the guy starts the motion and they're given a lot more of those 3 free throws. So fouling late on a 3-pointer, but KJ got it off and they messed up a switch there, and he got fouled, and then, like I said, hit the free throw and really put the pressure on them. I thought we had a good double team there. I'll have to watch it again to see what Danny saw there, but it was a good finish for us, and KJ did a great job finishing the game.
You mentioned Steinbach the other day as an NBA player, and he obviously had a big second half. What is it about his game that just is so challenging to try to contain him or slow him down once he gets going?
Oh, he's got great hands, and every rebound he's got really long arms. He gets hands on. Tonight he added the threes. He only hit 14 threes coming in, tonight, and he gets 2 down, 2 for 3, big ones. That second half, he was unbelievable. So, but again, second chance points, first half or second half, 13-4, that 9 points, and then turnovers 6-1. We got beat 19-5, and we had a 14-point lead, and there's 13-point difference right there, if my math is correct. So 19-5, I guess 14-point difference. So we gave that lead right back in the 2 areas that have hurt us all year. And we just got to go to Chicago and try to swing away and see what we can make happen.
In that first half, you found open looks over and over, started 7 of 7 from 3. What did you see working in that stretch?
Those were inside-out threes. They were zoning. We got the ball to the free throw line there, kicked them out. They were all assisted. None of them were off the dribble. And then we got a little aggressive and started taking some off dribble. And other than the last one KJ hit, we went over. We didn't hit any threes off the dribble. We got so excited that we hit a few that we took some very questionable ones, and again, the percentages just aren't there. As a team, we haven't shot it well off the dribble on threes all year. Our only percentages come from inside-out threes, and threes that, ball movement, open threes. are the only threes we've hit. Like I said, KJ hit the last one, was off the dribble, but the rest of them, you know, Wade took a couple off the dribble, didn't hit. Des takes one off the dribble after he had hit a couple, heat check. You know, those weren't the shots that we were hitting.
You talked about going to Chicago and swinging away. You know, what's the, you know, how do you kind of get the guys excited about this and ready to go play when you know that even if you do start swinging away, you got
Yeah, no, we just got to go Maryland or whoever we play. You know, we just got to go try to win a game, and then if we're fortunate enough to do that, we just get ready 11 o'clock the next morning and try to win another game. And that's, you know, I didn't talk to him about winning the tournament. So we're going to just go play and try to play better and win a game. Hopefully, play the next day. Hopefully, play the next day, and just see what we can do. But you know, the first thing we got to win one game, and if we don't guard, if we don't rebound, if we don't handle the ball better, that won't happen. And did a tremendous job the first half. I don't have the stats right. I got the second half stats there, but you know, the first half. So the first half, they get 2 second chance points. All right, you know, those kind of things, you know, are what we got to control. And again, guys are doing it. Drew's battling, you know, Wade's battling. You know, they're playing way too many minutes, you know, than I anticipated when we started the season. You know, TK's probably playing way too many minutes. You know, Nate's out there too long. So our depth and what we want to do isn't where it needs to be. But hey, on senior night, you know, we've done pretty good on senior night, finding a way to win some close games. And that one looked like we'd given it away, you know, and the guys found a way. So KJ hit a clutch shot and clutch free throw. So, you know, I'm happy for the guys, especially Nate. Nate would have been really hurt, you know, the couple of the plays he made there in the second half. He would have been really hurt if we didn't finish that one.
One more. You talked about the inside-out threes and how you strayed from those in the second half. How do you make sure your team knows its strengths going into the tournament?
Well, they haven't picked up on things very well, so I'm not sure that they will. But you know, we'll keep talking, keep emphasizing that. But you know, I think I mentioned it a long time ago, the connection, you know, of what we want and how we need to play. As a coach, you're disappointed that, you know, they don't understand what we've got to do to win games. And that's my fault. You know, that's my fault, not getting to play the way we need to play to win games. And so go and I got to learn something from this year, and the players got to learn something from this year. And we got to get a core group to come back and build from that. But right now, we just Maryland, Penn State, Rutgers, Northwest, whoever we play, you know, we just there's some games tomorrow. So whoever we play, we just got to get ready to go.
You mentioned next year. Taj was here tonight and he signed. What's just been his development you've seen from the senior year that he's had?
You know, he went to a prep school. He's in Missouri. Really good competition. Link Prep is the name of it. No, he's got good size. You know, he's got to get stronger. You know, that's the one thing you always got to convince high school players. You know, you're going from playing 18-year-olds, 16, 17, 18-year-olds to playing 22, 23-year-olds. You know, you got to get stronger. The game's so much more physical. It's so much faster than what you're used to. You got to get bigger. You got to get stronger. So he's going to have to do that. We'd like to put on 10 to 15 pounds. But he is talented, and he wants to be here, and those are two really good qualities.
Last one. You mentioned learning. What does that look like for you this offseason?
Well, you know, I mentioned that, you know, I made some decisions, and we took some guys that aren't experienced enough, and it caught us when our experienced players went down, when Jackson went down, and when Nate struggled, you know, during the 2 periods where he was out. And, he's not as bouncy as he was like a year ago. I mean, you watch him play a year ago. I mean, he blocked 75 to 80 shots. I can't remember exactly what it was. 75 shots. This year he just, he didn't. I don't know if he blocked a shot tonight. I mean, he's not as active, and that's like I said. He fought his tail off to get back from one sprained ankle and then the other sprained ankle and the other foot. I mean, he's playing on two ankles that are bothering him, and he's fought through that. So, but to answer your question, we've got to get some experience in the portal. We've got to get some talented freshmen, and we think Taj is, and we're going to bring some other guys in for visits. We got to get a core group back, which won't be easy. The portal, everybody, looks at every option they got, which that's just the way it's going. But that's why I got so much more appreciation for a guy like Nate. 5 years here. There was an article, and 22 players in the Power Five. Did you guys see that? 22 players that played 4 or 5 years at their school. 1 in the Southeast Conference, 3 in the ACC, 3 in the Big East. The Big Ten had the most at 10. We got 18 schools, and there's 10 guys that stayed 4 or 5 years. Now, the pendulum has swung so far to the other side. And again, I'm nostalgic here. Think of the guys that stayed 4 or 5 years here. The E.J. Singlers, the Garrett Sims, Jovan Catron, when I first got here, that stayed with us. The Johnny Lloyds, Peyton Pritchards. I mean, Dylan Brooks was here 3 years. Jordan Bell 3 years. I mean, guys, they stayed. And, you developed that connection that I talked about. They understand me. I understand them. We know each other's history. You don't get that as much, which is just different. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just saying it's different. But I think it does kind of catch your attention when you see only 22 guys in 5 conferences that only played at one school. I saw that and I go, no, that can't be right. There's got to be more than that. And so the pendulum, like I said, swung maybe too far the other way. And there's got to be a little balance there. I want guys to have the freedom. I want guys that want to be at Oregon. I've said that 100 times. We can't win if we don't have guys that want to be here. Right? Want to get on a plane and go for 6 days on a road trip. They got to want to do that. They got to want to be here. And so hopefully we'll get that group together that wants to be here and talented, some more experience maybe. I've got to do a better job connecting with the guys and getting them to play the way they need to play to win games.